You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining us this morning on another edition of Inside Automotive right here at CBT News. Understanding the role of education as well as hands-on experience in shaping the industry's next generation of talent is crucial. Joining me today is Zak McLeod, who's a Northwood University student and intern who's spending 10 weeks garnering industry experience in various roles within the dealership. We're also joined by Jason Jager, who is the Senior Director of Industry Partnerships at Cox Automotive. So, Zak, let me start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what drove you into the automotive industry or wanting to get into the automotive industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have family a little bit of everywhere in Michigan, and one of my family members, it's my grandfather actually, he was a Mercedes master technician for 45 years.
Wow.
So with that, anytime we were over on that side of the state, we were at his dealership. He'd give us a little rundown. We'd go put little Hot Wheels cars in his toolbox and everything like that. So
that's pretty cool.
He gave us that kind of introduction early, to see what that whole side of the business looked like of cars. Yeah. So, and then growing up, we have in my town, I'm from Frankenmuth, Michigan. We have an extremely big weekend like car show that we do every year.
Okay.
So growing up with family side of it and town side of it, it was hard to get away from. So I'm addicted now.
That's great.
It's been awesome.
That's fantastic. And is your grandfather still with us?
He is.
Wow, he's got to be very proud of you then.
He is.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I saw him over the weekend. He was very excited.
I'm assuming he's retired now?
He is.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you ever wanted to get back into the business, a master tech at Mercedes-Benz, he could probably write his own paycheck, right?
Absolutely.
There's such a shortage of great technicians. So, Jason, you've been the point person at Cox Automotive's relationship with Northwood for about 18 years. Talk to us about the support of Northwood and how it has evolved over the years.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. That's right. So, correct. I've had the privilege of leading the relationship for 18 years. Cox Automotive has had over a 20-year relationship with Northwood University. It initially began with our Mannheim business. Auto Trader soon followed. And then when I was able to take the point on it and Cox Automotive developed, we brought it together as a full scope of Cox Automotive brands with the university. And so with that, we do a variety of things on campus. First and foremost, we offer 3 scholarships each year to students. We offer a scholarship to the general chair of the auto show, and I know we'll talk about that here momentarily.
Sure.
We have a second scholarship named after Barbara Cox, who is a former owner and director of Cox Enterprises, our holding company. And we have a third scholarship that we do in partnership with NIADA that we actually just awarded last month at the NIADA convention. So scholarships and supporting student education with Northwood University is first and foremost and of importance with Cox Automotive. But there's a variety of other ways that we're involved with the university as well. In 2018, we brought to bear and developed the Cox Automotive Solutions Lab on campus. And what that is, it's a lab that we as Cox Automotive fund and sponsor. It's located in the Plaster Enterprise Center. And there we do experiential learning. So Northwood University is all about hands-on experiential learning. And that's what separates Northwood University from most other institutions in the industry. And so we value that very much at Cox Automotive. It gives us an opportunity to bring guest speakers to campus to teach on philosophies, industry philosophies, such as inventory management on the vAuto side of our business. And on the fixed operation side of the business, we're highly involved with our X-Time business. And then on top of that, in 2018, we introduced the Cox Automotive Solutions Lab on campus.
Wow.
And so we use that lab environment where we fund and sponsor this lab at the Plaster Enterprise Center on campus. And we have a couple of our colleagues, my colleague Patrick James, as a matter of fact, he teaches on vAuto principles, and another colleague, Tiffany Stefanescu, teaches on our X-Time and Fix Ops principles as well. And so
fantastic.
Over the years, we offer a variety of on-campus sketch lectures and programming, and we're also highly involved in the auto show coming up here in October.
The question might be obvious, but why the commitment from Cox Automotive to Northwood University?
Yeah, so it's really fundamental to Cox and our values to and to bring together the future of the automotive industry to help to raise the next generation of automotive professionals in our industry and cultivate that in our ever-changing landscape. And so it's really fundamental to who we are and what we do. And it helps to bring us all together as an automotive community as well. And so as part of that, we do offer a variety of internships. And we obviously love to have Northwood University students as part of that program.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Fantastic work you guys are doing. So Zach, tell me about this intern program. What's involved with it? How long is it? What are the different positions that you've held?
Yeah, so with my internship, I'm working for Penske Automotive Group, more specifically in United BMW.
Okay.
So with that, I guess, program, we're going through 10 weeks in each section of the dealership. So we'll spend 3 weeks in the fixed operations side, working through the service lane, working through parts, everything like that.
Are you actually writing service, or you're?
Oh, we are. We're kind of shadowing as well.
Okay.
They're letting us be hands-on, depending on our knowledge level of everything.
Sure.
So going from there, we spend 4 weeks in variable operations, where we go through the sales side, we see vehicle exchange, we get to shadow finance, we get to see everything like that.
That's fantastic.
It's been really hands-on. I've never worked in a dealership before. This is my first exposure to it.
Okay.
So with that, I mean, going in and being as hands-on as I can be has been fantastic.
Yeah. Do you ever call your grandfather and say, "Hey, what does this term mean?"
I've thought about it a couple
ACV?
times. Right. What does this mean?
That's right.
So,
That's right.
But it's been really, really good. I'm very fortunate to have this opportunity.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Of all of the different positions, the obvious question is, which one do you gravitate towards the most, or what do you like the most?
Yeah, I've had a really great time in sales.
Yeah.
I think that for me, I like to talk to people, like to build relationships.
Yeah.
So for me, if I can do that, help people find what they're looking for, I think that's where I'd like to spend a lot of my time.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. We need more good salespeople, that's for sure. So the program offers a rotational experience between the departments, as we talked about. How do you think, how important is this to vary that experience, Jason, among the students?
Yeah, it's incredibly important, Jim, that the students get exposure to a variety of aspects of the dealership and the retail side of the business, right? Yeah. So it gives them not only an opportunity to understand the retail infrastructure, but then also to understand how the retailers work with their OEMs and understand that piece of the process as well. And then also, from where we stand as Cox Automotive, it gives the students an opportunity to understand within the infrastructure of the dealership how providers such as Cox Automotive also integrate and provide our offerings in the dealership landscape as well. So by the students working in this rotational environment, they not only understand all the dealership infrastructure, but they're getting exposure to other aspects of the industry, partners and providers like Cox Automotive, relationships with the OEMs and so forth as well. So it's really a full understanding of the ecosystem.
That is fantastic. Zach, what are some of the key takeaways or skills that you learned?
Yeah, I think one of the key takeaways I came in seeing it a little bit, but I've seen it even more having worked in the dealership now, is that no matter where you are, everything kind of pieces together to make the whole big machine work. And I think you see that, I mean, as cliche as it is with the car engine, you see it in the business, you see it everywhere. So I think seeing that, realizing how important human capital is in your stores, I think that makes a big difference. If everyone wants to be there and wants to succeed, I think you're gonna see a lot better numbers from there. Another key takeaway would be how fast-paced the business is. I think that's where I operate best. I like seeing that, of how quickly deals are going through, getting cars in and out of service. I think all of that has been phenomenal to see.
Yeah, for sure. It's fast-paced, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot to learn. Do you ever feel overwhelmed, like, whoa, this is...
Right. I mean, here and there, I think that chaos is fun. I think that, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way in the store. Right. They're all functioning through it like it happens every day, because it does.
Sure. Just as a bystander and looking at some of these different things and shadowing, do you see opportunities that maybe the very individual that you're with didn't see? To say, well, wait a minute, that person just said that they wanted to drive the red one, and we have a red one.
Here and there, yes. I tried not to question a lot of the processes, because I'm sure there's a reason that we do things a certain way. But I think that there have been multiple times where certain managers have asked us questions regarding, like, you're young, what do you think about this? How do you see this?
That's
like,
right.
If you were buying this, what would you want? What values are you looking for in this product? So I think that they're very open to our ideas through that process, and I think that's ultimately what the next generation is looking for.
That's right. And we've gotten, because of COVID, it kind of accelerated it, but now obviously digital retailing or modern retailing, where everyone's doing so much on their laptop or even their telephone, whatever the case might be. As a new consumer out there coming on board now, and you be buying and leasing your own cars, Do you see that as the future of the industry, that people will do more of the sales process online rather than visiting the dealership?
I think that there's a lot of the process that we can do online. We've had customers that come in just to test drive the car, do everything else online, and they're generations ahead of me. So I think that as people of my generation are buying more cars, people of my generation are working in the car industry more, there'll be that kind of togetherness where it's like, okay, I can text my salesperson all my information. And go through that side of it. Just come in, test drive the car, be out in an hour. I think that's what most people would be looking for.
Sure.
So
there's obviously some car companies out there, I won't mention any names, but where they'll deliver the car right to your front door, where you do the entire process online and you never even will go into the dealership. What's your take on that? Could you see yourself buying a car that way?
So I actually did.
Okay.
Not with.
Well, that answers the question.
Right. It wasn't with any of the major companies. Being in Michigan, I'd been working with a dealership in Massachusetts about a car that I wanted. Very specifically. Worked with them. Their transporter brought it to my house. This was in 2021. So not like it was that long ago. I mean, these companies were already a thing.
Sure.
But it's nice. It's interesting. I mean, I had never gotten a car brought off a transporter in my driveway before, so.
But you didn't see the need to actually visit the showroom, right? I mean,
correct.
Was it your first car, I'm assuming, that you purchased?
It was, I think, second or third. But with that, I had known vaguely what I was getting into. I mean, at some point, you have to trust the car. Because ultimately, if you're getting point A to point B, everything works in the car.
Of course.
You've got what you're looking for. So.
Right. But you see that could be a strong area in the industry moving forward, right?
I definitely think so.
Because all dealers will do it. I mean, obviously, you've got car companies out there that really pride themselves on doing it. But every dealer I talk to goes, yeah, we'll do that in a minute. You know, somebody wants to deliver the vehicle right to their front door. No big deal. You don't need to go to some of these disruptors out there, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting. So let me ask you this, you kind of touched on it a little bit, or you tipped your hat here, but of all of the different departments that you worked in, you get an opportunity to spend extra time in the one of your choice, right? Did I understand that correctly?
Yes.
Will it be sales?
I think it will be sales. Like I said, I mean, I really enjoy that relationship building process, and I think everyone has a different method to it. Everyone has a different method of how they sell each vehicle. So being able to shadow different people, I've shadowed a couple different salespeople already that I've seen some differences in how they do things, but they all sell a lot of cars every month. So I think to be able to see a little bit more of that, see whose methods are working, whose maybe aren't working as well, where people can improve. I mean, getting a better grasp of everything, I think, is what I'll be looking for in the last couple of days.
Did anybody grab you and say, hey, go talk to that customer and see if you can close them?
A couple times.
A couple of times. Said, a little nerve-wracking, isn't it?
Go talk to them.
It's not so easy.
Right. I mean, it's much different. Nothing like going over and shaking someone's hand and immediately just trying to put a deal together.
That's right. Makes for a better student when you get back to the university to go, wait a minute, I'm really going to pay attention here because I just learned that this is very, very important, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think something that we had touched on before, like being in some of the Cox-based classes that we have, we've gone through, and coming into these dealerships with what we've learned in these classes has been phenomenal.
Yeah, I bet.
Like they're using acronyms, they're using terms that we've heard of before, and like I'll be sitting there and I'll realize like, oh, we covered this. Like, thank you to everyone at Cox that was able to come and talk to us and be able to explain this whole process.
Right.
So.
Now, when you said, boss, bump him 100 and dehorse him, what did that mean? Right?
Absolutely.
There's got to be a whole book just on that. Jason, the students typically do more than one internship in their 4 years. Talk to us about that.
Yes, they do. Well, we work very closely with the university, and the university really does promote that. They like their students to do more than one internship. And at Cox Automotive, we appreciate and look for students and early pipeline, early career professionals coming into the industry that have more than one internship as well. And so several of our large dealership group clients do offer internships, and so we see students coming into Cox Automotive from internship experiences from multiple dealership groups in that way. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we at Cox Automotive offer our own summer internships as well. And we try to work really closely with the university to bring aboard students to work within our organization, whether it's at Atlanta or elsewhere.
That is fantastic. Yes. So you must get the phone call, that goes, hey, I want Zak to work for me after?
We do.
How do we get this? How do we get this kid in here?
Well, it's interesting. Northwood students are highly sought after in the
bet.
industry.
Yeah.
So whether it's us at Cox Automotive
Sure.
or with a retailer, they're highly sought after, and they know they're getting a polished, ready-to-go professional after graduation.
And the alumni is very, very strong. When you go, I've interviewed so many heads of dealer groups and companies, and it's been countless. So they'll say, I went to Northwood University, now they're the CEO of some company that's got 12,000 employees or something, and it's really impressive where you guys can go. Which is fantastic. So tell us about the upcoming annual Northwood International Auto Show, October 4th through the 6th, and your involvement in that.
Yeah, it's my favorite weekend of the semester.
I bet.
It's been, it's incredible. So this will be our 61st year of the auto show.
61st year?
Correct.
Wow.
So it's been going on for quite some time, and it's only getting better as the years go on. We all work with different dealer groups as well as like corporate side of things to get these vehicles. It's all put on by students, which is, funny to see, because there are a lot of stores that you come in with a stack of papers, they're signing their cars away, a bunch of college kids for the weekend.
We'll be back.
Right. So, we work everything out with them. All the dealer groups that we've worked with have been fantastic.
Sure.
But everything, like I said, put on by students. We're all coordinating everything with the tents, with the land that we're using, with all the dealer groups.
That's great.
It's been fantastic.
Are they all new cars? Are they new and used? Are they exotics?
Mostly new. We do have exotics as well. We have a couple members that come every year, and they bring their collections with them, or
very
parts
cool.
of their collection.
Yeah.
So those are always really great to see. We always showcase them in the middle of campus.
Yeah.
So with that, we have a big blend of everything. We have our newer brands. We have the aftermarket lot as well, where we showcase a lot of aftermarket companies too. So we have a good blend in there as well.
That's fantastic.
We're trying to bring in some newer things this year, a couple newer brands. So we'll see in the fall what happens.
Car shows are very important to the industry, aren't they? There's been some manufacturers over the last years that have said, hey, we're going to back out of doing some of these big car shows. Huge mistake. Because that's where so many consumers can go to one location, see all of the different vehicles, and sit in the cars and touch the cars and kick the tires and get the information that they need without getting, I'm going to get some letters on this, but without getting pounced on by a salesperson that goes, don't go anywhere, you got to buy my car, which we all know may happen if you go into a car dealership, because you guys are doing your job out there. But having said that, there's a huge role that I think car shows play, nationally and internationally, right?
Definitely. We've had, from our past years in the auto show, we've had students practically sell the car.
I bet.
We've had, last year for our booth, I had business cards for the dealership that we got cars from. We had people that were asking, where can I find this? Where is this car?
Yeah, for sure.
So from there, we're passing out cards, and I wasn't the only one that did it. We had a lot of people bring stuff like that along, drop off their branding for their stores. So we're happy to have. Someone's got to buy these cars either way. So.
That's right.
They can see it all now. Why not?
So let me ask you, then the show goes, I should say, from October 4th through the 6th. I think you said that you've got a black tie event that kicks the entire event off.
We do. It's on the Thursday night beforehand.
Okay.
That's kind of the main, like you said, kicks off the whole event.
Okay.
It's at night. We leave all the car lights on. So with that, it kind of lights up the whole campus. You can walk around, kind of get the preview of the show before it starts on Friday. So it's always really pretty.
That's very cool. We did a segment, I think it was either last year or the year before maybe, where one of the individuals, there was an individual donated their car collection to the college, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's pretty cool. Let's get more of that. If you guys are out there and you got car collections, no better way than to make a donation with those cars, right? Because do you still have those vehicles, and
we do.
Do you show them?
We do, There's one of our vehicles we have showcased in a certain spot, and then we're trying to expand that area. That way more people can kind of look more into it instead of being right up against it. We want to preserve it. It's a nice car.
Exactly.
We don't want anyone to be, especially if the donors were to be on campus and walk by and say, hey, why is my car outside? So we take good care of it. It's one of our prized possessions on campus, for sure.
For sure. Jason, tell us about Cox Automotive's involvement in the show.
Yeah, we love being involved in the Northwood Auto Show. This will be our 18th year, if I'm not mistaken, perhaps 19th year.
Wow.
And we're involved soup to nuts from beginning to end with the show. And so each year we make it a point to bring one of our leaders up to campus to participate in the program. This year, Grace Wong, who is our president of our Inventory Solutions Group, so Mannheim, will be on campus with us, and she'll be involved in the students put together a variety of industry panels and VIP learning sessions and programming. So not only available for the students to learn more from professionals about the industry, but it's open to the consumers and the public as well. And so we're there from beginning to end. We participate in, there's a fundraising gala on Friday evening as well, with proceeds going back to the university. It's also where we present the General Chair Scholarship to the student general chairs of the program as well. So it's really just a fun way and meaningful way to be involved with the university and the overall program.
That is fantastic. And so many people have graduated from Northwood, as I said before, and went in and had such successful careers in automotive. When I say automotive, I don't just mean the retail side, but the OEM side, the vendor side, obviously Cox Automotive as well. You all are doing just such great work there, and it's really so impressive, and you got such a bright future ahead of you.
Thank you.
Maybe you'll be promoting car shows nationally, right? And,
it could be.
That's a whole nother area, right?
Right. It's a big business.
That's right. That's right. Zak McLeod and Zak McLeod and Jason Jager with Cox Automotive. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Very much appreciate it. We'll get the word out for you on the International Car Show. Hopefully we can make it up there this year. I know that we've said that in the past, but I think this year we can make that happen. So thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Jim.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.